Welcome everybody to today's webinar after this year's digital ESH fair to introduce you to some of our products. So let's start immediately. A short introduction to my person. My name is Erik Alves and I'm a product manager here at RESOL. And today I have the pleasure of introducing and presenting some of our products to you. My colleague, Mr. Collett, will also be available for you in the comment sections on the right side in case of any questions during the presentation. Otherwise, we will be available for you live after the presentation. For those of you who don't know who we are, the RESOL company, I will give a short company introduction first so that everyone knows who we are and where we come from. And after that, we will take a look at our product range. So what do we have and for which area can we deliver which products? Basically about RESOL, we have been producing control solutions for more than 40 years now, mainly for the field of solar thermal and heating systems. And in addition to these products, we also offer many other products like accessories or productions or products for visualization, for example. With more than 100 employees, we are located in Hattingen in Germany. And all in all, we control several million facilities and systems with our products. So this means that we also have a strong international footprint. We have sales partners in several countries worldwide who offer you our products in the respective countries, also adapted to the market. Yeah, this is why we also develop customers specifically to meet the requirements in the respective countries, and so that in the end, the desired certifications in the different countries can be achieved. Our production is located in our factory here in Hattingen. This means that we manufacture all products 100% in Germany. In total, we can produce up to 2,000 controllers per day at our production site here. And on the picture here, you can also get an impression of our production. This is the SMD assembly, where the first components are placed on the PCBs, and then afterwards, on the right side here, they are soldered in the oven. At the end, after the oven, after the production process, the assembled PCBs are checked and tested using the latest technology. For this purpose, we use AOI stations or the so-called flying probe, where each PCB is inspected and tested then. For sure, we also have our own research and development division where our products as well as yours are developed and tested. And for this, we cooperate a lot with universities and research institutes in order to be always up to date with the latest technology and also to get fresh and new input. We also have our own in-house laboratories. One is an EMC laboratory and the other one is a hydraulic one, where we can build up the test fields under real circumstances. Here on the picture, also you can have a look into the hydraulic laboratory, where we install the setups and then test the products. So on the one hand, we check the functions, and on the other one, we also do long-term tests so that we can continuously improve and optimize the controllers. Yes, as I said before, we do the hardware and the software development by ourselves. It's all done in-house here. All products are controlled, where we check the quality and the functions. And still in terms of the production, we really check after each manufacturing step to ensure the quality of our products. Let's take a look at the adaptations for OEM customers or developments for you. Here we develop controllers specifically according to the customer's requirements. Our standard hardware and software are used as a basis to be suited to the individual requirements of the customers. This means that you can also get our controllers with your own logo. You can see it here on the picture, on the image, or also with your company's design. In terms of this, we are very adaptable to our customers, and we can also change the name of the controller if it is necessary. In addition to this, there is also the possibility of pre-connecting the sensors and cables in our production so that the device can be installed directly. So all of this involves our standard controllers, but also complete developments that we will work out together with you then. So let's move on to our production or product portfolio. What controllers do we have here? First of all, the solar and system controllers. This is our original field from where we come from. Here we have very simple controllers for smaller solar systems up to system controllers that can regulate very large and complex systems then. Then we have also the heating controllers that are optimized especially for the control of the heating itself. Furthermore, we offer controller for the exchange of domestic hot water. These are products that we adjust especially for customers, mainly customers who manufacture and sell these freshwater stations. In this case, we match our regulation exactly to the respective station of the customer then. The second major OEM market is the heat transfer. Here we are talking about district heating systems and heating interface units for apartments. These products will also be adapted then to the customer's needs, but I will explain more about that later. What we also offer are pump stations. In this case, the controller and the whole hydraulics with pump and valves are combined in a pre-assembled station. This is of course very comfortable and useful for the installer because these stations require less effort. But last but not least, the field PV heating, or also known as power to heat. This is a field which has become more and more present in the last few years. Because many PV systems, especially here in Germany, have been or will be removed from the government support. But I will put a focus on that later in this presentation, and I will talk about this later on. So let's start with the product group of the solar and system controllers. We have simple solar controllers shown on the left here, which only control the solar system itself. For example, the DeltaSol ALEHE here, which can take over the control of a high efficiency pump in a standard solar system and also supports an electric immersion heater. In comparison to this simple solar controllers, we also have the system controllers. You can see it here on the right. The DeltaSol MX is the most comprehensive controller that we have in this category. It is suitable for controlling solar and non-solar system parts simultaneously, so that it can be used for very large and also complex solar and heating systems. For this, we have different sensor inputs. There are approximately 20 inputs, and with extension modules which can be connected to the controller, there are 45 inputs that can be used there. In regard to the outputs, the DeltaSol MX, the biggest one, also has a lot to offer. In total, there are 14 relay outputs. Several PWM outputs are also included, and with extension modules, it can be increased up to 39 outputs. So overall, 7 heating circuits can be controlled, which means that very large and comprehensive installations can be realized with these products here. Moving on to the heating controllers, here we also offer different devices depending on the complexity of the regulated system, starting with a simple HC Mini here in the middle, up to the larger heating controller, which would be the HC Max, in order to be able to control even larger systems. Due to the same operating concept here, we use the same housing as for the solar and system controllers. In this case, you do not have to get used to our heating products if you have already been in contact with our system controllers somewhere. The largest controller, the DeltaTherm HC Max on the right, can also control very large and multivalent systems then. Overall, it can control a total of 4 heating circuits simultaneously, and if you use our extension modules, 3 more heating circuits can be integrated with this. Now let's take a closer look at the customized controllers. Due to the fact that there are more and more requirements in terms of comfort and ecology, customers and suppliers are expecting and demanding that the control system becomes more and more intelligent. And this is the point where our products will be focused. Together with the customer, we discuss the requirements and we develop a system-specific software that is suited to the respective application then. Of course, the hardware and the components that are used are important too, so that in the end the customer gets the finished station with the integrated control system from our side. These customized controllers are mainly of interest for OEM customers. The entire field here can be divided into the 2 subject categories of freshwater controllers and heat transfer controllers, and as I already mentioned, a very flexible adaptation is possible for both. This is why the DeltaSol Fresh and the DeltaTherm DH controllers can be seen as a controller concept or a platform that is individually adapted to the customer's requirements. First, let's take a closer look at the freshwater controller and the control system itself. This platform or basis here that we offer enables a very precise and energy-saving regulation to the desired draw-off temperature. We achieve this by carrying out tests with the customer's hydraulic station in our laboratory, so that we can optimize the controller with the knowledge and the results we gained in the laboratory there. Just because different hydraulic components also behave and react always in a different way. The DeltaSol Fresh platform is also suitable for large systems. There is a cascading option for up to 6 stations, so that several units can work together. We also achieve a high control quality by using a self-learning network in the controller, which I would like to explain in more detail, but on the next slide then. So, a brief explanation of how the control system works in principle. The schematic system is shown here with a hot water tank on the primary side on the left, and on the right side, the secondary side, is the draw-off point. And basically, there is always a heat exchanger in between, where the fresh water flows through when it is tapped and is heated up by the hot water from the primary side. So when the fresh water is being tapped in the shower or at the tap, a volume flow is detected at the sensor here at this point, and this activates the primary pump then. The deviation from the set temperature and the hot water temperature is calculated, and due to this, the speed of the pump is adjusted accordingly. What is also very important with the freshwater stations in general is that the control velocity or the speed should be as high as possible. This means that the set point temperature should be reached very quickly. And we achieve this with our control algorithm, and the controller does something like an adaptation to the system characteristics there. This can be seen very clearly also on the diagram on the right here. This is an example from a test in the laboratory. In this case, the hot water temperature, or the set point of the hot water temperature, is around 40 degrees Celsius, and the flow temperature on the primary side, is around 60 degrees here. What can be seen now is that after the tapping is stopped and started again, the hot water temperature swings a little bit in this area here. And this fluctuation is what you feel in the shower or under the shower, and what we don't want to have. Honestly, it is not possible to eliminate it completely, but we try to optimize and to minimize this fluctuation as much as possible. And as you can see, we managed to do this pretty good with our adaptation. The control system learns from how the system behaves and then adapts the control behavior to this. And in comparison to the first time, the fluctuation is also much smaller in the second and in the third time here. And also, to this point, the temperature is measured directly behind the heat exchanger at this point here, so that after the piping we have here, the temperature fluctuation is almost gone and no longer noticeable. Very similar to the freshwater controllers are the controllers for heat transfer stations. The special feature here is that in combination with the freshwater part, the heating part is also taken over and included in the controllers. And with this, or with the controller concept that we offer here, the control of a weather compensated heating circuit is also possible, even with a room influence or exclusively via the indoor temperature. We offer 3 different control modes with which we can control the heating circuits then. There are also several pre-programmed functions, and a remote access via a room control unit is also possible. This can easily be set then in the controller if it is necessary. And here, once again, the difference to a pure freshwater controller. The heat transfer controllers include not only the freshwater regulation on the left, but also the benefit that a heating circuit is included, and both can be combined together in one system. One great benefit of these products, of the heating interface units, are, for example, that these units can be installed very easily. But it's also a very hygienic solution, because the portable water is heated immediately at the apartment and only when it is needed. So let's move on to the topic of PVing, or also called power to heat. This is a topic that has become more and more important in the last few years. And it is about using the self-generated PV current for heat, and finally to support the own heating system with this energy. The matter has been raised because the first systems are no longer receiving financial support from the government here in Germany right now, since the beginning of this year. And as a result, the plants are no longer as profitable as they used to be before. Also, to be more independent and to reduce the heating costs overall, it is worth it to use the generated energy by yourself. And now the question is, how do we use the electricity in an intelligent way? And this is exactly where we step in with our products, and currently offer a total of 3 different options. Firstly, the DeltaTherm PHM here, which is new in the range since last year. Then we have the DeltaTherm PV, and last but not least, the Flozel E on the right here. First of all, First of all, let's take a look at the PHM, the power to heat manager. In the energy industry, we are always talking about sector coupling or integrated energy. And for this, the connection between the individual sectors must be given. Yeah, and this is exactly where all of our power to heat products are based. We create the connection between the large sectors of current, heat, and mobility. And the power to heat manager, or the PHM, acts as a distributor of current. In short, it detects the power axis and can control various consumers or loads depending on the demand for the individual consumers at that moment. Yeah, this means that the consumers are switched on according to demand. And it is also possible to use electricity from the grid or the main. So there's also the option of not only using the own PV current. The PHM is suitable for all PV systems. Yes, these are all the products we offer in the power to heat family. So on the one hand, for completely new installations, but also for retrofitting in existing systems, the PV system only has to be connected to the grid here. Let's take an example. A simplified system with a thermal storage and an electric immersion heater in the middle between the PV panel on the left and the storage on the right is the PHM, which has no integrated power electronics like the other two products we have in this range, but is basically responsible for the distributing the energy or for distributing the energy. This means that if the sun is shining and we generate our current, first it flows through the inverter, and then the household current is consumed. So we have always given a priority to the household current here. Only after that, we would feed it into the grid here after the household current, then we would feed it into the grid. And exactly at this point, directly in front of the electricity meter, there is a sensor module. This is always included in the scope of delivery and is responsible for checking if we are currently using electricity from the grid or if we are feeding electricity into the grid. And due to this position, we are always converter independent and can check very easily if there is access or not. Yes, something that is also possible in principle is that reheating can be done with the current from the grid here. It can also be done time controlled, and everything can be set in the controller. Especially in countries like France, where the energy price is very low, for example. This is a very interesting point and is often required. Regarding the loads or the consumers, here we can connect and control up to 3 electric immersion heaters. In the example here, only one is represented, but it would also be possible to use 3, for example, at the top, in the middle, and at the bottom, and then you would set priorities for these consumers. In other words, you would say where to start, so that, for example, the immersion heater at the top is started, and depending on how much access is available, the immersion heater below would be switched on. In addition to the 3 electric immersion heaters, there is also the option of using a heat pump. This is approved, and we are also smart grid ready. In such an example with a heat pump and one or more electric heaters, a temperature-dependent control would be used then. So first, the heat pump would be activated and would be used for the lower temperature. And only later, when we get into the warmer range, where the COP of the heat pumps gets worse, the heating element would be switched on and then would act as a kind of temperature booster. Exactly. That would be the temperature dependent control then. The entire process is protected up to approximately 90 degrees Celsius, and the buffer tank would be also charged up to that point. Last but not least, in combination with the 3 electric heaters and the heat pump, we can also integrate and control a wall box for electric vehicles, so that overall the power to heat manager can control a total of 5 consumers or 5 loads, which allows us to combine the sectors of current, heat, and also mobility. The second product in the PV heating family is the DeltaTherm PV. It is a bit larger than the PHM, but it works based on the same principle. In other words, we generate the PV current first for the private purposes, and then the excess is detected and consumed by the household current in order to increase the self-consumption. The DeltaTherm PV controller transfers the power directly to an electric heating element, and what makes the controller so special is that it is provided stepless to the heater. This means that the controller can forward even a small amount of excess current and modulate the heating element according to the power that is available at that moment. Compared to the PHM from the slides before, we have integrated power electronics here in the DeltaTherm PV that enable this modulation and this stepless control. A remote access can also be used and implemented. For this purpose, the smart remote function can be activated in the controller, whereby the behavior or the modes can be adjusted via a remote control then. Optionally, further settings can be activated, for example, a 0 to 10 volt control or a limitation of the inverter power can also be made. And later this year, there will also be an update or a new version of the DeltaTherm PV, which will allow a stepless modulation up to 9 kilowatts in comparison to the 3 kilowatt right now. Finally, the Flozel E. This is the third product we offer in this segment. The Flozel E is a hydraulic version with an integrated heating element. It's located at this point here under the housing. Basically, this is a complete station in which the pump, the electric heater, and the controller are prepared and pre-connected. The sensor module is located directly in front of the electricity meter and detects whether the system is using the grid or has access. Again, this means that we are independent of the inverter, so that the Flozel E can also be connected to any grid-connected PV system. The integrated electric heater can regulate stepless and variable up to 3 kilowatt, and with external consumers even up to 12 kilowatt. And this is also a new feature of this product here, that 2 external consumers can be controlled as well. For this purpose, 2 free and available relays in the controller can be used here, whether further consumers can be connected then. For example, which is very useful, is the installation of an air conditioner as an external load. This is also possible and would be very helpful in the summer month when the PV current is available but not much needed in the way of thermal energy. So as you can see, there are a lot of possibilities that you can achieve and realize with these 3 different products. We also offer a very large portfolio of accessoires for the solar and heating systems, starting with the data loggers and communication modules for visualization and remote access. Here we record various data so that you can have a look at weekly or monthly statistics later on. We also offer sensors and valves in addition, just like thermostats, measuring instruments, measuring devices, and calorimeters. There are also other tools like test sets, flushing stations or filling stations for solar systems, for example. And regarding the high efficiency accessoires, we also offer two very compact devices. One is a high efficiency check. This is a measuring device with which PWM signals can be generated and measured. PWM or high efficiency pumps can be controlled in order to test their functionality. And now one of our new products, the LIN check, you can see here on the left side. This is also a measuring device, especially for LIN bus pumps to control them. On the one hand, you can set a pump speed to check and test the function of the LIN pump. And on the other hand, the LIN check can take over the role of the readout of data to display in the end error codes. The second product we offer recently is the radon sensor FRN. A short explanation about this. Radon gas is released during the process of uranium decay, which can be found naturally everywhere in the world. And this decay of uranium in the ground creates radon, which passes through the ground into the air we breathe. Then it dissolves and is distributed in the air, in the fresh air, so outside of buildings it is not dangerous at all, because it is well distributed and the concentration is also very low. However, this is a little bit different in buildings. So if the radon gas gets into our buildings through the ground, the concentration in the air we breathe is of course much higher and also much more dangerous to health. And in addition, it has been proven that this radon-contaminated air in living spaces increases the development of lung cancer, or lung cancer is often due to a high radon concentration in the air. And with the radon sensor here, the FRN, the concentration can be measured and displayed. This is done by a flashing LED. You can see it here. This is a small LED. There are different flashing codes that show if a critical value has been reached. In addition to the radon concentration, the temperature and the humidity can also be measured with the sensor. And for example, if the sensor is connected to one of our controllers, a fan can be controlled. Yes, and the measured values can also be directly displayed on the screen. Exactly. These are two new products in this range here. So let's move on to the visualization and data evaluation. This is the area next to the data loggers and communication modules, or the area that relies and uses the recorded data. Our internet portal Phobosnet is one of them, the first one here. Here you can do a lot of different things online. There is an editor with which you can create a complete representation of your system. Temperatures or pump speeds can be attached to this mapped system and transmitted live or monitored. Also, evaluations over specific time periods can be monitored and then analyzed with our online portal. Furthermore, we also offer interface adapters, Phobosnet, Phobos Modbus. These are various communication protocols which are supported by us, so that there is the possibility to connect to building management systems. For example, an ocean can also be used to create then a radio-based operating option there. Then we offer our Phobosnet Touch apps. These apps are suitable for heating control, for example, and can be used for a remote access to the controller. These are very easy to use apps that have been specially developed and designed for a very simple operation. And also the apps can be downloaded very easily from the App Store or the Google Play Store with your mobile phone or your tablet. Let me go into more detail about the visualization point. For this, you need a few devices, basically a controller here, then a data logger or a communication module, and last but not least, one of our visualization solutions. The solutions and possibilities are completely from the RESOL development. On the one hand, the practical apps, and on the other hand, the PC tools that we offer here. For example, the RPT tool, the RESOL parameterization tool, which you can use to configure or to configure the controller from your computer and then save the settings you have made and upload them to your controller. Another option you have is our online portal Phobosnet. This is something I would like to discuss more in detail because it is the most comprehensive visualization tool we offer. The basic requirement is that you have connected your controller to a data logger or to a communication module in order to be able to use your complete live data from the system. And then finally, you can visualize your entire system and create it with an editor where you can attach data, measured values, pump speeds, or heat quantities, for example, to view and monitor then the system. The whole service is available in two versions. Firstly, the basic version, which you can use free of charge, and then the Pro version, which offers you more functions. There is the possibility to receive notifications then, you can receive reports, you have access to an extended system editor, you can also parameterize your controller via the internet browser and then save the data or configurations you have made and load them onto the controller. So all in all, with the Pro version, there are a lot more functions that can be used. Phobosnet is also suitable for every device and every operating system. This is very comfortable. For example, because you can access everything from your Windows computer, but also from your iPhone or your iPad. Here you can see the dashboard of Phobosnet. Once you have set up the system and attached the live data to different places, it looks like this, for example. Yes, and another great thing here is that you can display it very easily, and you can also make a separation, for example, between floor heating and radiator heating. Yeah, for this we offer many graphic templates, but you can also use your own images to visualize your system the way you want to have it then. Another possible feature is that you can display diagrams and, for example, look at consumption values over certain time periods, as shown here in the picture. Yes, as you can see, we offer you a very comprehensive portal here. So please feel free to take a look at this and test it on your own. So that brings me to the end of the webinar. I hope you got an overview of our products. If you have any questions left, please feel free to stay in the room and ask them. Otherwise, that's it from my side so far. Thank you very much for your attention. Yes, I wish you all the best and stay healthy.